Into session, the February 8th meeting, and the purpose of this meeting, I'll let Jennifer state that, and then we'll move forward.
It is 10:03, and we are opening the public hearing for consideration of the Faulkner number 302 watershed drainage improvement petition filed by Calvin Finks.
With that, I'm Gary Merrill. I'm the president of the board this year, and to my right is Commissioner Barb Lewis, the vice chair, and I'm going to kind of read through how we're going to proceed today. I'm assuming this is the first hearing that most of you have been involved in. So the purpose is the Faulkner number 302 watershed drainage improvement. And that's the petition that we're going to be considering today. And this is how we will proceed. There's a sign-in sheet circulating in the room, and we ask that you please sign the sheet to indicate your attendance. I think you probably have already done that. We will hear a report from the county engineer in Soil and Water Conservation District. There are copies available of the report. I think I saw Jennifer handing those out, so I believe you have those. After board questions, following the presentation, there will be a time for questions from the board. And after board questions, the board will hear from any interested owners that wish to testify. Those speaking for or against the petition must be either an owner, as defined in section 6131.01 of the revised code, or an attorney speaking on behalf of an owner. Those are the only people that can speak at this hearing. Before accepting testimony for or against the petition, the board will acknowledge receipt of any landowner written testimony before hearing live testimony. We will first call all those wishing to testify in favor of the petition. We will then call all those wishing to testify in opposition to the petition. And before testifying, you'll be asked to take an oath, and the board will close the public hearing after all testimony and evidence has been presented. After listening to testimony and the report of the engineer, the board will decide whether to proceed with the survey and design or dismiss the petition. The board must consider the following factors in making its decision: whether proposed improvement is necessary, whether proposed improvements will be conducive to the public welfare, and whether the cost of the proposed improvements will be less than the benefits that will be derived from the improvements. If the board proceeds with the petition, the Delaware County Engineer will prepare plans, reports, and individual schedules of assessments for the project. When plans are complete, a final hearing will be set. Notification of the hearing will be given to landowners, and the board will consider the project. With that, I will start by asking, read the report into the record. Please move forward.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brett Bacon, Deputy Administrator, Soil and Water Conservation District. I will read the first hearing report into the record and be happy to answer any questions the board may have. First hearing report, Faulkner number 302 watershed drainage petition per ORC 6131, February 8th, 2024. This report has been prepared for the preliminary hearing on a drainage improvement petition filed by Calvin Finks on July 25th, 2023. The original petition has been signed by one individual representing one of the 32 parcels in the watershed. The course and termini of the requested improvements are quoted from the petition as follows. In Delaware County, Scioto Township, within the Faulkner number 302 watershed, and generally following but not limited to the course and termini of existing improvements. The following is the nature of the work requested as quoted from the petition. To generally improve the drainage, both surface and subsurface, to a good and sufficient outlet by replacing, repairing, or altering the existing improvements as required and or creating new surface and subsurface drainage mains or laterals as requested by this petition. Petition process. This petition has been submitted according to Section 6131 of the Ohio Revised Code, which authorizes the Board of Commissioners to act on behalf of benefited property owners to make drainage improvements. If the Board of Commissioners decides to proceed with the project, the costs related to the improvements and the development of plans, reports, and schedules are assessed to the landowners in the watershed according to the benefit received to their watershed acreage. These special assessments will be added to the property taxes for each property and can be spread over a maximum of a 15-year period. Property owners may also choose to pay their assessment in a lump sum payment prior to placement on their property taxes. Additionally, the improvements will be placed on the Delaware County Drainage Maintenance Program in perpetuity per ORC Section 6137, and the annual maintenance assessment will appear on property tax statements as a special assessment in the same manner as the construction assessments. These annual maintenance assessments are generally in the range of 2 to 5% of the construction assessment. The decision to approve a petition project is a three-step process. First, a viewing of the proposed improvement is conducted for the commissioners to familiarize themselves with the watershed and general conditions. The commissioners conducted the viewing for this project by drone video on November 13th, 2023. Next, a preliminary hearing is held to consider the initial feasibility of the proposal. It is this preliminary first hearing that is before us today. If this petition is approved, a final hearing will be conducted to further consider this petition. At that time, final details such as engineering plans and specifications, cost estimates, and a proposed schedule of assessments will be known. Existing conditions. The Delaware Soil and Water Conservation District and Delaware County Engineers Office have made the following observations of the watershed using on-site evaluation and a review of available historic records, aerial photography, topographic mapping, soils mapping, and drone video. The Felkner number 302 watershed, as defined for this hearing, measures approximately 203 acres. The current land uses in the watershed are predominantly agricultural, rural residential, and golf course. Improvements have been made in the watershed utilizing the drainage petition process in 1909. These improvements appear to consist of subsurface drain pipe installation only. The existing drainage system does not appear to be functioning at optimum capacity due to a lack of comprehensive maintenance in the generally deteriorated condition of the infrastructure. Numerous blowouts have been observed along the length of the subsurface drain pipe. This indicates potential structural deficiencies in the material and can be an indicator the subsurface drain system is not fully functional. These structural issues can also increase the frequency of surface flows or flood routing through the area as drainage water normally flowing through the subsurface drain pipe is forced to the surface. The conditions are indicators of an overburdened, unmaintained, and aged drainage infrastructure. While the existing drainage system still provides some degree of drainage benefit, it does not appear to meet the specifications of a good and sufficient outlet for either agricultural or rural residential drainage. Estimate of cost factors favorable, unfavorable, benefit versus cost. ORC 6131 requires the county engineer to state in a report factors favorable and unfavorable to a proposed project, estimate the cost of the project, and state an opinion as to whether the benefits of the project exceed the cost. The following information is presented for your consideration. Construction estimate. The proposed project would begin at or near the north/east right-of-way for Calhoun Road and extend upstream in a northeasterly direction for approximately 3,700 feet. The major items of work would include open channel reconstruction, surface drain shaping and grading, subsurface drain pipe replacement, clearing of brush and vegetation, seeding and mulching of disturbed areas, turf grass restoration, and the installation of erosion control measures. Project estimate. Construction, $111,060. Project administration, survey, and engineering, 10% of the construction estimate, $11,106. Drainage maintenance, ORC 6137, first year startup, 5% of the construction estimate, $5,553. Total project estimate, $127,719. Notes. It is important to understand that the above estimates are preliminary and made in the absence of a current detailed topographic survey of the project area. The above estimate does not contain a contingency amount. The amount of necessary contingency would be evaluated as part of the survey and engineering design of the project and added to the estimate presented at the final hearing. Contingency cost is typically estimated at 15 to 20% of the final construction estimate. As an example, a 15% contingency would add approximately $19,000 to the construction estimate. Should the project fail to be approved at the final hearing, the benefiting landowners, as defined by ORC 6131, may still be responsible for the cost of project administration, survey, and engineering design. Assessments. If the project moves forward to the second hearing, the Ohio Revised Code instructs the county engineer to calculate the assessments to individual property owners based on the benefits received from the improvements for the various properties in the watershed. ORC 6131 states that, quote, uplands that have been removed from their natural state by deforestation, cultivation, artificial drainage, urban development, or other human methods shall be considered to be benefited by an improvement that is required to dispose of the accelerated flow of water from the uplands. Benefits are further defined by the ORC as elimination or reduction of damage from flood, removal of water conditions that jeopardize public health, safety, or welfare, and increased value of land resulting from the improvement. It should be noted that property owners are only assessed for those improvements that are located downstream from their properties. No property is assessed for improvements located upstream. The public agencies that own rights-of-way for public roads and other public lands are also assessed for both construction and maintenance costs in the same manner as private property owners. Individual parcel assessments are not calculated for the preliminary hearing and are only calculated if the petition moves forward to a second or final hearing. Factors favorable, unfavorable. Factors favorable to the improvement: improved surface and subsurface drainage in the watershed, improved outlet for subsurface drainage components of household sewage treatment systems and for residential drainage systems, reduction of future deterioration of surface and subsurface drainage infrastructure, annual inspections, maintenance, and protection of the improvement in perpetuity. Factors unfavorable to the improvement: temporary land use disruption during construction, cost of construction and maintenance may be a burden to some landowners, removal of existing trees and brush in improvement area. Benefits versus cost. Assessments for property within the watershed are calculated based on the benefits derived from, as well as the contribution to, the drainage system. The benefits to agricultural lands are realized differently from what is commonly seen for residential properties. However, both types of land use are commonly recognized to have benefit from a good and sufficient drainage outlet. A publication by the Ohio State University Extension titled "Returns to Farm Drainage" details several studies conducted by Ohio State researchers on the effects of drainage on crop yields. The studies show that fields with good drainage will produce higher yields than fields that have poor drainage. A recently completed 25-year study showed that subsurface drainage increased corn yields by 24% to 39% and increased soybean yields by 13% to 46%. The same study also analyzed the return on investment for installing subsurface drainage in a field and found that for corn, $4 is returned for every $1 invested, and for soybeans, $3 is returned for every $1 invested. There are approximately 27 acres in the watershed currently being used for agricultural production. The average estimated yield increases for the soil types present in the watershed, given the appropriate drainage improvements are in place, are approximately 46 bushels per acre for corn and 14 bushels per acre for soybeans. Using current 2-year average crop prices from the USDA National Agricultural Statistics Service of $6.18 per bushel for corn and $14 per bushel for soybeans, it can be estimated that drainage improvements could potentially produce an average annual benefit of $6,500. This estimate assumes an even distribution of corn and soybeans in the watershed. To state it generally, the benefits of drainage will equal the increased yield multiplied by the market price. The increased value or benefit for residential and commercial properties is much more subjective and difficult to quantify. The lack of an adequate drainage outlet can dramatically affect the seasonal usability of a property and deteriorate the condition of household sewage treatment systems, potentially limiting the value of homes for resale. Should existing systems fail, the cost to perform repairs or construct alternate sewage treatment systems can range from the thousands to tens of thousands of dollars. It would also be reasonable to consider the cost of environmental degradation due to residential sewage treatment systems that may not be functioning properly. Other benefits that are commonly perceived as a result of drainage improvements focus on quality of life and positive neighborhood perception. Communities that have planned and maintained stormwater drainage infrastructures generally have higher resale values than those communities that are known to have a history of drainage problems or flooding. Conclusions. Based on all of the information gathered and generated for this project, I believe this project is technically feasible and would adequately serve the project area's drainage needs. The testimony brought to the board by the landowners, however, as to whether the benefits of this project exceed the cost, should be given significant consideration in the decision to move forward with this project. Should the current petition be approved to proceed to a final hearing, the petition bond will be returned and detailed plans, specifications, estimated costs, and a schedule of assessments would be prepared. Additionally, a benefit versus cost analysis will also be performed to further determine the feasibility of advancing this proposed project.
Thank you, Brett. With that, do we have any written testimony that's been submitted?
We did not have any written testimony that was turned in.
Okay. Then, any questions from?
No questions.
Okay. Thank you. I think we'll proceed with testimony. I have no questions at this time. So as I alluded to when we started this process, the first thing we'll do is hear testimony in favor of the petition. And so at this time, is there anyone who'd like to speak in favor of the petition? Okay, well, ask twice. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of the petition? Okay. With that, we'll move to anyone who would like to speak in opposition to the petition. I will ask a second time. Anyone who'd like to speak in opposition? Okay, Brett, when you come back up? We have no one who will speak in favor or opposition to the testimony. Is it your position that this is a constructive project that benefits exceed the cost?
I'm going to answer that by saying over time, the benefits of drainage will always be beneficial. And drainage infrastructure does not, it's not going to improve itself. There are definitely deficiencies in this drainage system. There are structural deficiencies. There are some questions about how adequately the surface drainage moves through the area. Over time, I will always take the position that a drainage project is going to be beneficial. Whether that time period is acceptable to the landowners, given the costs involved.
It would be helpful though if we had landowners who were willing to make that statement.
Yes,
okay.
it would be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever had one where we had no one in favor or opposed. It's difficult for me to proceed with this going forward without testimony in support of. I don't know how you feel about it, Commissioner Lewis.
Wow. Yeah. I suppose the only plus would be, because this is the first hearing and we move ahead with it, that you would have more information, Brett, than to come back to us and say, you know, this is a worthwhile
Do we have
endeavor
someone who-
or not.
We
Yeah,
might have
I'll
someone
just
who
add,
wants
yes,
to-
there are certain aspects or things that we included. The board is aware, I'll say this for the benefit of the landowners present, when we make an estimate for a first hearing, we assume worst-case scenario. We assume the entire system, as we look at it today, is going to need improvement or repair or replacement. That is part of survey and design, is evaluating whether that's going to be necessary. It's quite possible that we may shrink this project in scope as far as what needs to be done, and obviously as the price of a project, the overall price would go lower. That means your benefit to cost ratio is going to go up. I wouldn't anticipate the scope of the project getting any larger. Like I said, we estimate worst case. Obviously, as we move, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, looking at a potential for construction, we all have no idea what construction prices are going to do to us. Obviously, they've been going up significantly. So, while the work estimated might not go up, the overall price might go up. Obviously, those are things we don't know until we get to that stage. I'll yield. I think there was somebody that would like to speak.
My comment, Commissioner Lewis, we
Commissioner
had one petitioner supporting this petition.
And I did not know I was supposed to oppose it today. I thought I was just listening.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to re-ask the question. Is there anyone here who wants to speak? First of all, I will ask a question on both sides, just make sure we're covered. Anyone here who wants to speak in favor of the petition? Anyone here who wants to speak in opposition to the petition? Proceed. Come forward and let me swear you in. So were we not clear that you would need to speak in opposition or for future reference?
This was kind of last minute. I kind of filled in, so I was not sure the hearing was for opposition. I thought we were just
Okay, I
listening.
need you to do one thing for me. I need you to give me your name, and to the best of your ability, where is your property located on the
Right.
map? Can you do
I
And
that?
your address too, her address.
And your address.
Okay, I am Nancy Black Plant. I am one of the owners of Mill Creek Golf Course, MCGC land.
And you know your number or your
I'm the last one on the list,
last, well, okay.
okay?
So you are
32.
at 32, I got it.
Okay.
I can see the landscape of the golf course. Okay, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I am.
Proceed.
Uh, As far as Mill Creek Golf Course is, when we have a drainage issue, we fix it. We have to fix it. So we fix our drainage issues. If someone else came on our property and was going to fix drainage issues, I'm not sure how they would proceed without affecting our business and tearing up, as you know, tearing up a golf course is very expensive. That is one of my biggest concerns, is if this would proceed, how would that affect, a golf course? Your prices would go up a lot if you had to get into a green, irrigation, and all of that. So that's one of my big concerns.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Your name and
Eric Cole, number 26.
number 26,
And your address.
and your address.
7383 Penn Road.
And I'd usually like to know where the properties are before I suddenly look on my map here. I'm just curious. You said number 26.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very well. If you raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Proceed.
Well, as you can see, my property is probably not going to benefit from this at all. The amount of my property that's inside of that map is probably smaller than that table. I'm opposed to it because that area is so rapidly growing that this farmland may be taken over shortly for housing development, and drainage would be installed then to properly suit new development.
And that's your testimony?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lewis, you have any comments additionally from what you've already said? I'll give you my observation. We had one signatory on the petition, and that individual's not here to state support for that view. It's very, very hard for me to proceed in that capacity. Now, we have to look at it a little differently if we have yet to vote, but it's how it benefits the whole area, and everybody has a role in the water, that whether it's on your property or it's on someone else's property. It used to be on your property as it drains. So, but the point I'm making today is, with one signatory and that person's not here to support his position, it's very, very difficult for me to support going forward. And Commissioner Lewis, do you have any comments before I ask for the?
No, I think we'll just close the hearing.
Because there is a cost to moving forward,
Yeah.
and that's a cost that would be borne by all of you if we move forward. And again, it's difficult for me to do for the reasons I've already stated. So I'm going to ask for you to read the
Resolution number 24-109, in the matter of dismissing the Felkner number 302 watershed drainage improvement petition filed by Calvin Finks. Which,
So move.
I'll second that. Call for the vote.
vote on motion 24-109. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Very well.
Thank
So
you.